You ever notice how sometimes the harshest battles women fight aren't out loud, but in silence? No yelling, no confrontation, no fists on the table. Just a smile that feels a little too sharp. A compliment that cuts more than it uplifts. A glance that lingers just long enough to remind you you're being sized up. No one says anything, but you feel it. It happens in the workplace, in friendships, even within families. It's not the obvious enemy we prepare for. It's not some stranger trying to take us down. It's the quiet tension, the subtle digs, the invisible wall of competition between women themselves. And here's the truth. Nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Because to talk about it feels like betrayal. It feels like lifting the curtain on a secret we've all agreed to keep. But here's what I know. Silence is where the damage grows. That unspoken competition eats away at confidence, poisons relationships, and keeps women from building the alliances they desperately need. And instead of saying, yes, I see you and I celebrate you, we end up quietly tearing each other down, sometimes without even realizing we're doing it. This isn't about being cruel. It's about what happens when insecurity, comparison, and fear creep in. It's about how society has conditioned women to fight for scraps. Attention, approval, validation, like there's only enough to go around. And when you believe there's only enough for one, suddenly another woman's win feels like your loss. So tonight I'm going to strip away the polite smiles, the Instagram filters, the I'm happy for you lies. We're going to talk about the silent aggression that women carry and how it destroys not only respect, but opportunity. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to recognize it, how to stop feeding it, and how to shift from rivalry to respect. Because the truth is, the strongest women don't compete with each other. They build each other, but you can't build what you're secretly resenting. Let's go there. Let's talk about the competition that nobody admits to, but everybody feels. The hidden competition. You know what I'm talking about? The subtle sizing up between women. The way you scan someone when they walk into the room. What is she wearing? How does she look? What's her job title? Who's paying attention to her? And before you even realize it, you've placed her somewhere on your invisible scoreboard, maybe above you, maybe below you, rarely equal. It starts young. Think about middle school, the whispers in the hallway, the judgment over who wore what, who had the better hair, who got attention from the boy. Everybody liked. It wasn't about openly fighting. It was about ranking each other. And here's the kicker. Most women never outgrow it. They just get better at hiding it. The scoreboard doesn't disappear when you turn 30 or 40 or 50. It just changes categories. Instead of boys, it's promotions. Instead of hair, it's houses. Instead of grades, it's vacations and social media followers. The competition never leaves. It just matures with us. The problem is that this hidden competition doesn't push women to rise. It holds them back. Because when you're constantly comparing yourself to the woman next to you, you're not focused on your own race. You're too busy watching her lane. And when you're watching her lane, you're losing ground in yours. Silent aggression isn't just toxic to relationships. It's sabotage to your own potential. What makes it even more dangerous is how quiet it is. Men will openly compete. They'll challenge each other in sports, in business, in arguments. It's visible. It's out there. And sometimes that friction makes them stronger. But women, the competition often hides behind smiles. You might hug your friend, congratulate her on her new job, and then go home and cry because you feel left behind. You might nod politely when she tells you about her engagement, but inside, you're bitter that she found someone before you. Out loud, you're supportive. Inside, you're burning. And here's where it gets even darker. Sometimes the competition doesn't stay inside. It seeps out in small, cutting ways. A sarcastic comment disguised as humor. A just kidding jab that isn't a joke at all. A compliment with a sting at the end. You look great. I mean, you've really learned how to dress for your body type. That's not support, that's hidden competition leaking out as sabotage. And let's be real, every woman in this room has felt it. You've felt it directed at you, and if you're brutally honest, you've also directed it at someone else. Because it's human nature to measure ourselves. But here's the question. What's the cost of it? The cost is massive. Hidden competition destroys trust. You can't fully trust someone who's secretly rooting against you. It destroys collaboration. You can't build something powerful with someone who's silently hoping you trip. And it destroys confidence. Because when you're living inside comparison, no matter how much you achieve, it never feels like enough. There's always someone prettier, smarter, richer, or more successful. And instead of celebrating what you do have, you're stuck chasing someone else's reflection. This is why so many women struggle to build genuine alliances. Because if we're constantly looking at each other as rivals, how can we come together as allies? And that's exactly what society has conditioned us to do. For decades, women were told there were limited spots at the table. Only one woman could get the promotion. Only one woman could be the star. Only one woman could be in the spotlight. When you grow up believing there's only one seat available, you start fighting every other woman in the room just to claim it. You start believing that her win is automatically your loss. But let me tell you something. That belief is a lie. It's a lie designed to keep women divided. Because divided women are weaker. Divided women don't rise together. Divided women fight each other instead of breaking ceilings. And the irony is, the women you see as your competition, most of them are carrying the same insecurities you are. They're looking at you and wondering if you're smarter, if you're prettier, if you're more successful. They're comparing themselves to you, just like you're comparing yourself to them. So while you're silently competing, they're silently competing back. Two powerful women, both diminished, both distracted, both stuck in a cycle that doesn't serve either one. So here's the hard truth. Hidden competition is not about her. It's about you. It's about how you see yourself. Because when you're secure, when you know your worth, when you're locked into your purpose, another woman's success doesn't threaten you. It inspires you. It shows you what's possible. It makes you say, if she can do it, so can I. But when you're insecure, when you're unsure of your own value, another woman's success feels like proof of your failure. That's when admiration flips into resentment. I want you to hear me on this. There is no shortage of success, no shortage of beauty, no shortage of opportunities. Life is not a pie where one slice taken means less for you. There are infinite pies, but you won't see that if you're living in hidden competition. You'll only see scarcity. You'll only see what she has and what you don't. And the moment you buy into that scarcity mindset, you've already lost, because you're no longer competing against her, you're competing against yourself. So ask yourself, how many times have you let silent competition steal your joy? How many times have you let it make you bitter instead of better? How many times have you walked away from an opportunity to connect, to collaborate, to build something powerful because you were too busy comparing? The hidden competition between women is real. It's destructive, and it's costing us more than we realize. But here's the good news. The moment you recognize it, you have the power to stop feeding it. And when you stop feeding it, you create space for something far more powerful, authentic connection, real respect, and the kind of alliances that change the game. There's a kind of aggression that almost feels invisible because it hides behind a smile. It hides behind words that sound sweet but leave you feeling sour. You've probably heard it, and you've probably even said it. I'm talking about the backhanded kindness. The compliment that isn't really a compliment, the support that's secretly an insult. It sounds like, "Oh, you look amazing. I didn't even recognize you." Or, "Wow, you're so lucky to get that promotion. They must have really liked you." Or, "That dress looks so good on you. I could never pull it off with my body type, but good for you." At first glance, those sentences don't look cruel. In fact, they're wrapped in politeness. But underneath, the message is clear. I'm not actually celebrating you. I'm subtly cutting you down. This is where the silent aggression between women gets sneaky. Because backhanded kindness gives the speaker cover. If you call it out, they can say, "What? I was just complimenting you. Don't be so sensitive." It flips the script and makes you look like the one with the problem. That's what makes it so damaging. It's hard to pin down, hard to prove, and hard to fight back against. But let's be honest, why do women do this to each other? Why not just say what you feel? The truth is, backhanded kindness is born from envy and insecurity. It's easier to disguise jealousy as a joke than to admit, I feel threatened by you. It's easier to lace praise with poison than to admit, I wish I had what you have. So instead of dealing with those insecurities head on, people release them sideways through subtle digs, sarcastic remarks, and compliments with sharp edges. And here's the damage. Backhanded kindness erodes trust faster than outright conflict. When someone openly criticizes you, you know where you stand. You may not like it, but at least it's clear. But when someone pretends to support you while secretly undermining you, you start to second-guess everything. Does she really mean what she's saying? Can I actually trust her? Is this person truly in my corner, or are they waiting for me to stumble? That second-guessing kills relationship. Think about friendships. How many times have you shared good news with someone? Your new job, your engagement, your big achievement, and instead of feeling celebrated, you walked away feeling smaller. That's the effect of backhanded kindness. It takes your moment of joy and stains it with doubt. Suddenly you're not proud, you're self-conscious. Instead of lifting you up, they've pulled you back down to their level of insecurity. In the workplace, it's even worse there. A colleague says, great presentation. You seem so confident, even though you're usually so quiet. That sounds supportive on the surface, but it's really saying, I didn't expect much from you, so I'm surprised you did well. Those small digs can accumulate and create a culture where women feel like they're in constant silent competition instead of genuine collaboration. The irony is, women often think they're being clever or harmless when they use backhanded kindness. They think it makes them look supportive while still giving them a way to express their envy. But what it really does is reveal weakness, because strong women don't need to disguise insults as compliments. Strong women can either give real praise or have the courage to deal with their own insecurities privately. Backhanded kindness exposes the cracks in your confidence more than it hurts the other person. But let's flip this around for a second. How do you handle it when you're on the receiving end? Because it's going to happen. And if you don't know how to deal with it, it can eat away at you. The instinct for a lot of people is to laugh it off, ignore it, or even pretend to agree. But here's the problem. When you let it slide every time, you're silently teaching people that it's okay to disrespect you. You're teaching them that they can lace their praise with poison, and you'll swallow it without a fight. So what do you do instead? You call it out, but not with anger, not with drama. You call it out with calm, direct strength. Someone says, wow, you look amazing. I didn't even recognize you. You smile and say, thank you. I have always looked like me. Someone says, you're so lucky you got that promotion. You say, actually, I worked very hard for it. Notice how that's not aggressive. It's firm. It takes the poison out of their compliment and hands it back to them. It teaches them, if you want to speak to me, speak with respect. And here's the other piece. You have to check yourself, because the truth is, most of us have been guilty of this at some point. Maybe you didn't mean harm, but you let your envy slip out in your words. Maybe you thought you were being funny, or maybe you wanted to make yourself feel better. But here's the thing, backhanded kindness says more about you than it does about the person you're targeting. It's a reflection of your insecurities. And until you deal with those insecurities, you'll keep projecting them onto others. Imagine if instead of sneaking in subtle digs, women actually gave each other real, genuine compliments. Imagine if every time you felt that pang of envy, you turned it into admiration instead of competition. She looks incredible. Let me ask her how she did it. She got that promotion. Let me learn from her path. That simple shift changes everything. Because envy divides, but admiration inspires. At the end of the day, backhanded kindness is just another mask for silent aggression. It's not kindness at all. It's hostility dressed up as support. And the only way to stop it is to be brutally honest with yourself and intentional with your words. If you're going to give someone a compliment, make it real. If you can't celebrate them, stay silent until you've worked through your own feelings. Because anything else isn't kindness, it's sabotage. And here's the truth. Women don't need more sabotage. They don't need more silent enemies disguised as friends. They need real allies. They need women who celebrate their wins without adding a but. They need women who can be strong enough to admire without envying, to support without competing. That's what breaks this cycle. That's what ends the silent aggression. So next time you open your mouth to compliment someone, ask yourself, is this kindness? Or is this a knife dressed as kindness? Because one builds and the other destroys. And which one you choose says everything about the kind of woman you are. Social media is the loudspeaker of silent aggression. It takes all the quiet insecurities, the hidden competition, the backhanded kindness, and it multiplies them by 1,000. Why? Because now it's not just the women in your office or your circle of friends you're comparing yourself to. It's millions of women across the globe, all curated, filtered, and presented in their best possible light. And every time you scroll, the competition gets louder. Think about it. You log into Instagram. Within minutes, you see someone posting their perfect vacation, someone showing off their new car, someone celebrating their engagement, someone hitting a fitness milestone. What happens? Instead of celebrating with them, a part of you starts calculating, why don't I have that? Am I falling behind? Am I not enough? The app was designed to trigger comparison, and comparison fuels silent aggression. Now here's where it gets tricky. Social media isn't just about what you see, it's about how you present yourself too. People use it as a battleground to send subtle messages, throw shade, or flex achievements in a way that feels less like sharing and more like competing. Have you ever read a caption that felt like it was aimed at someone even though it wasn't named? That's silent aggression on display. A woman posts, "Some of us don't need to brag about our lives because we're too busy living them." Translation: I'm taking a shot at the ones who post too much. Another posts, "Not everyone deserves a seat at my table." Translation: I'm calling out specific people but dressing it up as self-empowerment. These vague, indirect posts are weapons. They're not about empowerment. They're about targeting someone without having the courage to confront them. And then there are the subtle competitions, the perfectly curated selfies, the effortless outfits, the staged family photos. Women don't just consume these, they compete with them. Someone posts their flawless morning routine with green juice, yoga, and journaling, and suddenly you feel like a failure because you didn't even make your bed. You don't see the chaos behind the camera. You don't see the 20 shots it took to get the candid picture. You only see the polished highlight reel. And then you weaponize it against yourself, or worse, against other women. Let's be real, how many times have you looked at someone's post, and instead of double tapping to support them, you judge them? She's showing off. She's probably not even happy. She probably edited that picture. That's silent aggression, disguised as self-protection. Because it feels safer to tear her down in your mind than to admit, her success makes me insecure. Social media creates this constant loop. We compare, we feel threatened, we judge, we post to compete. Over and over again. The most dangerous part? It normalizes envy. It makes it look like envy is the baseline emotion we're supposed to feel when we see another woman succeed. That's why you see so many people scrolling with bitterness instead of inspiration. We don't even question it anymore. We just accept that watching someone else shine will automatically make us feel dimmer. And then we feed that dimness with passive-aggressive comments or subtle digs. Take the comment section as an example. A woman posts a picture celebrating her body transformation. Most comments are supportive, but then you'll find the silent aggression. Don't lose too much weight. You don't want to look sick. Or wow, I liked you better before. You seemed more real. Those aren't compliments. They're disguised attacks. They're fueled by the discomfort of watching someone else win. But here's the deeper truth. Social media doesn't create silent aggression. It just amplifies what's already there. The insecurity existed long before the post. The envy lived inside you before you opened the app. The app just shines a spotlight on it and gives you endless opportunities to feed it. That's why some women spiral into bitterness online, while others use the same platforms to find inspiration and community. It's not the tool, it's how you use it. So how do you protect yourself from this trap? First, you have to get brutally honest about your relationship with social media. If scrolling leaves you feeling worse about yourself, it's not entertainment, it's poison. If you catch yourself judging every post, tearing down other women in your mind, or competing with people you don't even know, you're in the cycle of silent aggression. Awareness is step one. Second, shift your intention. Instead of using social media as a measuring stick, use it as a mirror. Ask yourself, why does this post trigger me? What insecurity in me is being poked? When you see another woman succeed and it makes you angry, that's not about her. That's about you. That's about the belief that her win somehow takes away from yours. Challenge that belief. Flip it. If she can do it, so can I. That shift alone takes you out of competition and puts you into possibility. Third, practice authentic support. When you see a woman shining, celebrate her without adding shade. No but. No, I wish I had that. No sarcastic comments. Just pure support. Why? Because the more you train yourself to celebrate others, the less power envy has over you. The more you celebrate, the more you create a culture where women lift each other instead of silently dragging each other. And finally, check how you present yourself. Ask yourself, am I posting to share or am I posting to compete? Am I empowering or am I sending veiled shots at someone? Because whether you realize it or not, your audience can feel the difference. People can sense when your words come from strength versus insecurity. And when your posts come from a place of hidden aggression, you're not elevating yourself, you're exposing yourself. Social media is a tool. It can either be a battlefield where women quietly attack each other with captions and comparisons, or it can be a stage where women amplify each other's voices. The choice is yours. But here's the truth. If you let it, social media will keep you stuck in silent rivalry. Always comparing, always competing, never enough. But if you flip the script, it can become the greatest platform for solidarity and strength. The question is, are you using it to build walls between women or bridges? Because every post, every comment, every scroll, whether you realize it or not, is training you to either feed the aggression or rise above it. At the heart of all this silent aggression between women, whether it's hidden competition, backhanded compliments, or social media rivalries, there's one root cause: insecurity. That's the engine driving the whole machine. Without insecurity, there's no need to compare, no need to undermine, no need to disguise envy as humor. It all comes back to how you see yourself when no one else is watching. Think about it. When you're confident and grounded in who you are, another woman's success doesn't threaten you. You can admire it, you can even celebrate it, because you know it doesn't take anything away from you. But when you're insecure, when you don't fully believe in your own value, her success feels like an attack. It feels like proof that you're failing. Suddenly her win becomes your loss. Not because it is, but because your insecurity twists it into one. That's why silent aggression is so common. Because let's be honest, every woman has insecurities. Society has done a damn good job planting them in us. From the time you're a little girl, you're told what beauty is supposed to look like, what success is supposed to mean, what role you're supposed to play. You're told you need to be thin, but not too thin. Ambitious, but not too ambitious. Attractive, but not trying too hard. Smart, but not intimidating. You're bombarded with impossible standards on every front. And when you can't meet them all, and nobody can, you start to doubt yourself. And here's the trap. Instead of blaming the system that set up those impossible rules, women often turn on each other. You see someone who seems to have what you don't, and instead of questioning the standard, you question yourself. You think, why can't I be like her? Why am I not enough? That pain turns outward. You disguise it as sarcasm, as judgment, as quiet resentment, but it's not really about her. It's about you. Insecurity is sneaky. It doesn't always show up as weakness. Sometimes it shows up as arrogance. That woman who constantly brags about her life, That's insecurity. The friend who always has to one-up your story. That's insecurity. The colleague who downplays your achievements with a smile. That's insecurity too. Because true confidence doesn't need to compete, it doesn't need to one-up, and it doesn't need to tear anyone else down. Insecurity needs those things, because it's trying to cover its own cracks. And here's the cruel irony. Insecurity doesn't just hurt you, it hurts the women around you too. When you act from insecurity, you spread it. You plant doubt in others. You make them feel like they have to play the same game. Silent aggression is contagious, because when one woman starts firing those subtle shots, the other woman feels she has to defend herself. She fires back. Now both are operating from insecurity, feeding a cycle that never ends. Let's break this down in real life. A woman walks into a room looking incredible, confident, polished, magnetic. If you're secure, you think, damn, she looks amazing, good for her. If you're insecure, you think, who does she think she is? She's probably fake. She probably spent hours trying to look like that. That reaction has nothing to do with her. It's your insecurity projecting itself onto her confidence. Or, take the workplace. Someone gets promoted. If you're secure, you say, that's awesome. I'm gonna learn from what she did, so I can grow too. If you're insecure, you whisper, she probably got it because she sucks up to the boss. It's not even deserved. Again, it's not about her. It's about your own self-doubt, twisting her success into an insult. Now let's flip it. What happens when you start addressing your insecurity instead of hiding from it? Suddenly, other women stop feeling like enemies. They start feeling like mirrors. Instead of thinking, she has what I'll never have, you think, she's proof of what's possible. That small shift changes everything. You go from resentment to inspiration, from silent aggression to genuine respect. The problem is, most people don't want to admit they're insecure. They'd rather mask it. But the masks never work. Backhanded kindness, fake confidence, arrogance. These are all just bandages covering a wound. And a wound covered up, but never treated, always gets worse. That's why the first step is brutal honesty. You have to admit what triggers you. Does another woman's beauty make you bitter? Does her success make you jealous? Does her confidence make you uncomfortable? Don't deny it. Name it. Because once you name it, you can work on it. And how do you work on it? By building real confidence, not fake bravado. Real confidence comes from doing the work on yourself, from keeping promises to yourself, from knowing your worth because you've proven it to you, not because someone else handed you validation. Every time you build yourself up, you shrink the power of insecurity. Every time you grow in strength, another woman's success feels less threatening and more empowering. Here's the bottom line. Insecure women see competition everywhere. Secure women see possibility everywhere. Insecure women tear each other down. Secure women lift each other up. Insecure women are trapped in silent battles no one wins. Secure women build alliances that everyone wins. And if you're wondering which one you are, don't just listen to what you say. Listen to the little voice in your head when you see another woman shine. That voice will tell you the truth. Is it cheering her on, or is it whispering bitterness? If it's bitterness, don't shame yourself. Fix it, because that's not who you have to be. Insecurity may be the root cause of silent aggression, but awareness and self-respect are the cure. The moment you start owning your value, you stop needing to steal it from others. The moment you start respecting yourself, you start respecting others too. And when that shift happens, silent aggression has no room to grow. So ask yourself, am I operating from insecurity or from strength? Because that answer determines not only how you treat other women, but also how far you'll go yourself. Imagine for a moment what would happen if women stopped seeing each other as rivals and started seeing each other as allies. If the energy we waste on silent competition, on judging, on tearing down, was instead invested in building each other up, the impact would be seismic. But let's be real, shifting from rivalry to alliance isn't easy. It requires unlearning years of conditioning. It requires rewiring the way you look at other women And most importantly, it requires humility. Because to truly build alliances, you have to be willing to put your ego aside. Rivalry thrives on scarcity. That quiet belief that there's only room for one of us at the top. Only one woman can get the promotion. Only one woman can be the pretty one in the room. Only one woman can be respected. That scarcity mindset is poison. And it's the fuel behind every subtle dig, every side eye, every unspoken competition. But here's the truth. Scarcity is a lie. The opportunities available to you aren't taken away because another woman claimed hers. The world doesn't have a limited supply of success, beauty, respect, or love. When you believe in abundance, when you believe there's enough for everyone, rivalry loses its grip. Alliances are built on abundance, on the recognition that another woman's success is not a threat. It's an opening. It's proof that it can be done. If she broke through, that means the door is open. If she succeeded, that means the path is possible. Instead of resenting her, you can learn from her. Instead of competing, you can collaborate. And when women collaborate instead of compete, they multiply each other's power. But here's where many women get stuck. They confuse alliance with weakness. They think supporting another woman means lowering themselves. That's insecurity talking. Alliance is strength. It takes confidence to say, I celebrate you. I want to see you win. I want to walk beside you, not ahead of you or behind you. That's not weakness. It's leadership. So how do you make this shift? First, you have to call out the rivalry when it shows up. Catch yourself in the moment. When you feel jealousy rising, when you feel the urge to gossip or tear another woman down, stop. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing? Why does her win make me feel smaller? That pause is powerful because it takes you out of autopilot. It forces you to see the insecurity that's driving your rivalry. Second, you have to practice celebration, even if it feels unnatural at first. Start celebrating other women out loud. Compliment their work. Acknowledge their achievements. Support their growth. Not in a fake, backhanded way, but genuinely. You'll notice something shift inside you when you do this. Because celebrating others doesn't diminish you. It expands you. It proves to yourself that you can stand in your power without needing to steal anyone else's. Third, create space for collaboration. Reach out to women you admire. Offer help without expecting something in return. Build networks, not cliques. Too often, women think power comes from exclusivity, locking others out. But real power comes from inclusion, inviting others in. The stronger your alliance is, the stronger you are. And let's be brutally honest here. Women need alliances more than ever. The world still underestimates you. It still throws obstacles in your path. It still questions your competence, your leadership, your worth. If women keep fighting each other, who benefits? The very system that profits off your division. Every time women tear each other down, they're doing the work for the people who want them to stay small. But when women stand together, when they back each other up, they're unstoppable. Picture a workplace where instead of whispering about the woman who got promoted, you ask her, how did you do it? Can you mentor me? Can we share strategies so we can both rise? Picture a community where instead of mocking another woman's success online, you amplify it. You share her work. You celebrate her journey. That's alliance. That's power. The shift also requires boundaries. Because let's be clear, alliance doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It doesn't mean letting toxic women drain you. Some women are too trapped in their insecurity to build healthy relationships, and you can't drag them out of it. Alliance is about choosing wisely. Surround yourself with women who want to grow, who want to win without needing you to lose. Those are your allies. Those are the women who will sharpen you, push you, and catch you when you stumble. And here's the best part. When you model alliance, you give other women permission to do the same. You set a standard. You teach by example. The more women who shift from rivalry to alliance, the more we change the culture. Because culture isn't built in theory, it's built in practice. It's built in the everyday moments where you choose to cheer instead of compete, to lift instead of tear, to build instead of break. Let me tell you something. Rivalries fade. That woman you're competing with today, 10 years from now, you might not even remember her name. But alliances last. The women you build with, the women you support, the women you grow alongside, they become part of your legacy. They become the network that sustains you, the foundation that makes sure you never stand alone. The truth is simple. Rivalry keeps you small. Alliance makes you unstoppable. Rivalry drains your energy. Alliance multiplies it. Rivalry feeds insecurity. Alliance feeds confidence. Rivalry keeps you trapped in a cycle of silent aggression. Alliance breaks the silence and creates strength. So you have to decide, do you want to spend your life competing in battles no one wins? Or do you want to build something greater alongside women who share your vision? Because one path leaves you bitter and isolated. The other makes you powerful and respected. The choice is yours. Shifting from rivalry to alliance isn't just about changing how you treat other women. It's about changing how you see yourself. When you respect yourself, you can respect others. When you own your worth, you don't need to diminish theirs. And when you live in abundance instead of scarcity, you realize the truth. Another woman's light doesn't dim yours. It only makes the room brighter. So let's cut through all of this. Silent aggression isn't about her. It's not about the woman you're competing with, judging or side-eyeing. It's about you. It's about the insecurities you haven't faced, the conditioning you've absorbed, and the lies you've believed. That another woman's success somehow steals from yours. That her beauty makes you less beautiful. That her achievement makes you less capable. None of that is true, but the more you buy into it, the smaller you make yourself. Here's the reality. No one wins in rivalry. No one wins in quiet competition. No one wins in backhanded compliments or social media shade. All it does is keep women divided, distracted, and diminished. And when women are divided, everybody else wins, except women. But alliance changes everything. When women stop competing and start collaborating, doors open that no one can close. Opportunities multiply. Confidence spreads. Respect becomes the standard. You don't just rise alone, you rise together. And when women rise together, nothing can hold them back. So I'm asking you, stop feeding the silent aggression. Stop letting insecurity dictate how you see other women. Stop fighting battles that don't matter. The next time you see a woman shining, don't shrink, don't resent, celebrate her, learn from her, align with her, because her light doesn't take away from yours. It shows you what's possible. At the end of the day, you have two choices. You can stay stuck in the shadows of rivalry, quietly tearing down, quietly competing, quietly losing, or you can step into the power of alliance where women build women, where success is shared, and where every single win makes the room brighter. And let me tell you something. The world doesn't need more silent battles. The world needs more women who stand tall, who stand together, and who refuse to let insecurity keep them small. Be that woman. Be the one who breaks the silence, who chooses respect over rivalry, who builds instead of breaks. Because when you do, you're not just lifting yourself, you're lifting every woman who comes after you. And that is real power.